Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back, viewers. We are continuing with our CBTs on virtualization, and at the moment, as you know, we are covering XEN. So today's CBT, what we are going to cover. Okay, as you can see on the screen, I've got a lot of points here which I'm going to cover, but not in one CBT, of course. I'm going to cover them in individual CBTs or individual videos, because each one of them is a lengthy topic. So main objective of today's video is to show you how to create an LVM and how you can install a virtual machine on an LVM. The benefits of LVM are that you can always add more disks to an LVM, you can extend it, you can reduce its size, and you can take snapshots of it, etc, etc. So you should always go with an LVM based installation whenever you feel that you are going to install X number of virtual machines on your host, and you may run into disk problems in future. So and if that's the case, then you should use LVM. So let's start with LVM. I will cover LVM in this video, how to create an LVM, how to create physical volumes, volume groups, etc., how to extend it. And then in the next video I'll cover the installation of any machine, either paravirtual or full hardware assisted virtual machine on LVM based slice. Alright, so you remember that we had these partitions in our disk. We have this disk in our system, this is storage. Still, if you recall, we are still stuck up on the first machine. We have 3 machines, and out of those 3 machines I'm showing almost all the examples only on one machine, because I don't want to create any complexity for you. We'll go step by step, we'll increase the complexity slowly, gradually. So as much stuff we can do on single machine, we'll do it. When we'll be in need of second machine, we'll include the second machine. Alright, enough talk. Let's see what is required. So to create LVM, you first need to have a physical volume. Let me write it like, first you would need, let's write here, LVM. Okay, so I'm going to move it up here. Okay, so I'm going to create a physical volume, and then I'm going to create a volume group, and then I'm going to create a logical volume on top of it, and that's it. So what would be the steps to do that? Very simple. First of all, you need to have physical volumes available to you. Now we already have these 6 partitions on this disk. The physical volumes can be partitions on the existing disks somewhere around here, or they can be entirely additional disk drives like SDB or something. This one is SDA. Since I am limited in resources, I would use SDA, my disk, and I have plenty of free partition area on this disk, so I'll use that to create LVMs. So PV first step is going to be PV create. No, not PV create. First step is going to be creation of more partitions /dev/SDA. Okay, print. I'll expand this for your ease of viewing. Okay, print shows me this partition table. I need to create a new partition. I will create it as logical partition, I'll press enter here to select whatever number is available as first cylinder, and assuming I want to create a Linux virtual machine which would take around 1 GB, no, which would take around 3 GB of disk space, okay, or it would need a disk of size 3 GB, and intentionally, just for the sake of education, I'm going to use a size of 1000 M, indicating that this is going to be 1 GB disk. Print. Okay, so this disk of 1000 megabyte is created, which is definitely not enough, and I'm coming to the point. I'm going to change its type, which is not entirely necessary. I'm going to change its type, partition number 7, to list the codes. I'm going to change it to Linux LVM. So I'm going to change it to 8E. I'm going to press print here to see what changes it has introduced. So this one has now been changed from Linux to Linux LVM, and this is the only partition I have which is 1 GB of size, which is inadequate for my 3 GB Linux virtual machine. We're going there, don't worry. So write this, okay, this thing, okay, partition table part probe, that will reload the partition table in memory, and fdisk -L will show you that you've got this new disk, new partition, at least 1 GB in size. So now you're going to create a physical volume. You're going to declare it a physical volume. It's important that writes certain important information on this device. Either it's a partition or a disk or whatever, it will write some important metadata onto it. So pv create /dev/sda7. Make sure you don't use any other number from the, don't mistake any other number for sda7, because you lose your data. So sda7, you can use -v for verbosity, or it's up to you. Press enter. Okay, setting up this, available sectors, zeroing start of this, physical volume created successfully. Fine. Now, once physical volume is created, we can create a volume group and assign this physical volume into the volume group. So I will use vg create, and before using, just to show you, you can always use pv display, which will show you which physical volumes are available. SDA7 is of this much size, no volume group assigned yet, physical volume size this much, and this is the physical volume ID. Since no volume group is assigned to it, so it will not show you these values yet. Okay, so we volume group create, and I forgot its syntax. So okay, volume group create -v for verbosity, and volume group name, I'm going to use it as store, let's call it disk store. This is going to be the name of volume group. I'm going to add /dev/sda7 as the physical volume. So the syntax would be volume group create -v volume group name, which you want to assign. This is our new name which we have thought of. It doesn't exist before. And physical volume name, which is already this one. Okay, so press enter, and it deletes this thing or initializes this and assigns it to the volume group disk store. So now if you do PV display, it will show you that this physical volume is part of this volume group, disk store. Volume group size is this much, allocatable yes, physical extent size this much, etc, etc. And now if you do VG display, which is volume group display, it will show you the name of the volume group, its format, its readability or writability, its further features like is it resizable, and volume group size, which it inherited from the physical volume. Note we have already assigned only one physical volume to it at this point. Okay, so volume group is created, and this is the output. Now we need to create a logical volume on it. So LV create, and I again forgot the syntax. So LV create, because a volume group cannot be used directly by any virtual machine or any OS. It has to be there has to be an LVM partition or LVM slice created from this volume group. That's the whole purpose behind this LVM thing. So LVM create minus V for verbosity, and interesting thing is that you are going to use this minus N to name your logical volume name. So minus N, and you're going to give it a name as, let's say, I'm going to install CentOS, so I will name it as like CentOS 64-bit disk, and I can also specify the size, but that won't be much helpful because later on I'm going to extend its size, so this will become invalid. So I'll just use this disk, or you can say that Linux virtual machine 1 disk 1, something like this. Any name which you can think of for your machine, for your disk, which will in turn be used for the virtual machine. You can use it. You can use that name here. So let's say Linux VM disk. Okay, this is enough. I'm going to specify the size. If I don't specify, probably I'll get the maximum size allocated to it. So I'm going to check that. And here is the actual list, actual help. That one is for extents, I believe. This one is for volume group. So I'll specify the name of the volume group which already exists. It's named as, if you remember, I'll just browse up, it's named as disk store. Okay, so this volume group disk store will provide space to Linux VM disk, or I could say VM1 disk. Okay, disk store. And size, okay, interesting. So minus L here is size, logical volume size. So I can say 1 GB, which it will probably not honor because the size is less. Insufficient free extents. Okay, so I can either create a 900 megabyte of disk, or I can extend the volume group. Either way, I'm going to show you everything. So press enter. I change this from 100 GB to 900 mega. See if it acknowledges. Okay, it's creating that. So creating logical volume this, volume group backup this. Okay, so Linux VM1 disk created. Now it is accessible as I'll show you. You do LV display and it will show you the name which you are going to use for this disk. This is going to be your disk now for your machine. You cannot create partitions inside it yourself. So what we are going to do is, and see its size 900 MB. Fine. Now the point is we cannot install Linux, the version of Linux which I intend to install within 900 MB. It will not fit. So I need to increase the size. But to increase the LVM size, I need to increase the volume group size. And to increase the volume group size, I need to add, let me show you. To increase the volume group size, which is disk store, I need to add more physical volumes to it. So PV display, I have only one physical volume. So systematically, let me show you the clear picture. fdisk -L shows me that I have this 900 MB of disk, about 1 GB, and the whole thing you just saw above, that it's got one physical volume, one volume group, and one LVM, which is not sufficient for us. So I'm going to create another disk or another partition here. fdisk/dev/sda print create new logical partition. I'll just press enter for first cylinder and give it a size of, let's say, 3000 mega. Press enter, print. Okay, this partition is created, and I press T to change type of partition number 8, and I type L to check the list of partition types, and I use this 8E, and I press print again, P, and I see that this has also been converted to, or tagged as Linux LVM. So I save these changes by W, and I need to do this part probe, otherwise I would need to do a reboot. So part probe will reread the partition table in memory and update it. Okay, so fdisk -L shows me this is my disk layout. I'm going to initialize this partition as a physical volume. So PV create -v/dev/sda8. Okay, created, successfully created. Fine. Now VG display shows me, does it show? No. PV display shows me that SDA7 exists assigned to disk store. SDA8 exists, but it is not assigned to any volume group. So I'm going to assign VG extend minus help, of course. VG extend -v to be verbose, and volume group name is disk store, which should already exist. Of course, you're going to extend something which already exists, and we're going to add /dev sda8. So this volume group will now get extended. Great, successfully extended. So if you do a PV display now, you will see that this physical volume is assigned to this disk store with this much of space, and this physical volume is also assigned to the same disk store with 2.8 GB of size. Great. So if you do VG display now, we'll show you that's still one disk store, still one big volume group, and now see the volume group size has changed. It is now 3.7 GB. I'll scroll up, show you VG display before. Here it was 964 MB. After adding more partition, the size has changed to 3.74 GB. Great. Now the only thing left now is extension of our LVM. So LV display will show me that I've got this logical volume with this name assigned to this disk store or volume group with this much of space, and my logical volume is still not mounted. Okay, why it's important? Because if I do LV extend, I have to do LV resize as well. Resize, online resizing, something like that. I'm forgetting the name, not exact command, but I'll just show you the mount command. You don't see this here anywhere, so it's not mounted. So we need to extend this, right? So LV display and LV extend. Oh, come on, help. Okay, LV extend minus V, and I'm going to extend its size to, if I say plus, it will add the amount. If I don't say plus, it will add till that value. If I say 2000 M, it will add additional 2000 mega, making it about 2.9 GB in total. If I just say 2000 mega without the plus sign, it will extend the existing logical volume from 900 MB to a total size of 2 GB, which is what I don't want. I want to add 2 GB. It supports G here, so I can just use 2 GB, size increase, and name doesn't, okay, here, logical volume. So the name of my logical volume, full name, is this one. Notice this. This is the name of your logical volume. So I'll copy paste it here. Fine. So our command looks like LV extend verbose increase size by 2 GB, resulting in 2.9 GB in total, and extend this LVM. Okay, press enter. Great. So see, extending logical volume to 2.88 GB. Great. And logical volume Linux VM1 disk successfully resized. Now if you do LV display, you will see the same LVM assigned to the same volume group, but now of a different size. Okay. Alright, so this was a very brief introduction on how you can create an LVM by first creating a partition or adding physical disks, then declaring them as physical volumes, then adding those physical volumes to a volume group or assigning it under a name of volume group, then then creating slices out of the combined disk store. Over here VG display shows you that there is only one volume group disk store. You can have multiple volume groups and different slices being cut out from different volume groups, etc. We'll stop here, or I would say pause here. I'm going to stop this video here, take some dinner, and I'll come back and show you how a VM can be installed on this LVM now, which we have just created. So see you in the next video.